Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today and welcome to this educational presentation of trading with a purpose. Now I know probably the majority of you out there today think that you're trading with a purpose, but I'm going to share with you how I really feel most traders trade and how in all actuality you're not trading with a specific purpose in mind. For example, let's take a look at this chart here, this current chart in EW. This is coming up to the week of March 11th, just a couple of weeks ago. Someone looking at this who thinks they're trading with a purpose would say, well, Steve, I go to a chat room that has a lot to deal with support and resistance, and there's some range market action happening here, probably some resistance at the top. It's just in a range, and the class that I took says that you should never trade a range market because that's where you get hurt. You fall under fire with a whipsaw type market, okay? So I'll stay out of this market because that's my purpose for not trading. Okay, sounds good and justified. But really, that's not a sole purpose of trading. What you're really doing, excuse me, is relying on something or someone else to tell you how or what to trade. With what I'm going to be sharing with you today, you actually would have found a signal being generated right here on the 11th of March, and you could have taken advantage of it if you wanted to. I'm going to share with you how you would have a choice to actually take that signal or not based on a specific filter. But if you had taken that, you would have had a nice profit within the next week. And later on in today's presentation, I'm going to share with you the purpose for exiting right here at this point, which would have generated an 18-point gain in just 5 days. So this is all going to be done really simply and easily on our platform. This is the PTS Primo charting platform I developed with Pro Trader Strategies. This is the educational portal that teaches you how to trade with the purpose. So welcome once again. My name is Steve Primo, president and founder of Specialist Trading. I've been trading for a total of 42 years now. I started on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was on the floor for 16 years. 9 of those years I was a specialist. A specialist is simply a market maker, someone who specializes in making markets and roughly about 50 or 60 stocks. So I've had roughly over 4 decades of experience in trading just about every market you can think of every strategy or system you can think of, and in every environment you can think of. So in my 4 decades plus of trading, I know what works and I know what doesn't. So why waste your time and most especially your hard-earned money spending literally thousands of dollars searching for that holy grail when it's all about educating yourself? That's what we provide here at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies. Simple, effective ways to educate yourself so that you can ultimately trade with a purpose. So I'm going to share with you how simple it is and how you can apply it on our platform today. But before we begin, as always, we are first required to share this with you. So please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results today. I have a ton of charts to share with you today. But please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the performance results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. And also please remember that all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. Excuse me. So once again, that's our required disclaimer as you're taking a brief moment to view it. Also, we have a good class here today, a lot of new names. So if you're new to our presentations, I'd like to extend this invitation for all of you to follow us on Twitter. There's our handle right there. You may want to copy that down. Every day I post different information, anywhere from what signals of what our strategies are doing to little bits of financial wisdom, lots of great free education. So feel free to follow us on Twitter. Now, remember, this is all about educating yourself so that you can trade with a purpose. Now, I know that most of you think that you're trading with a purpose. I know I did. When I first started trading 42 years ago, I did just about everything that most likely you're doing right now. We didn't have chat rooms or trading rooms then. There was no internet when I started, but there were a lot of newsletters, and we would subscribe to them to find out what these so-called trading experts were buying or selling. I listened to all the news. I waited with bated breath for every earnings announcement or every economic job figure or the jobless claims or any figure that was coming out. And I also would watch on TV to see what all the pundits were saying, what I should buy, what I should sell. And guess what? None of it worked, okay? This was 42 years ago, and people are still listening to the same thing and thinking that that's their purpose to do well in trading. Well, I was lucky enough to have some mentors who said, Steve, that's not the real way to trade with a purpose. So what they taught me was to teach with the specialist edge. And this is what I'm going to be sharing with you today. Now, once again, if you're new to my presentations, I love to take your questions, but please wait till the end of today's class. The only question I will answer is the most common one, and that is this being recorded? Yes, it is. So if you have to leave early or if you're having some tech issues, don't worry. We will send each and every one of you a link to this recording. But with that said, let us begin today's presentation. And we're going to be talking about how to trade with a purpose. And I think the easiest way to explain how to trade with a purpose is firstly to explain how not to trade with a purpose. And you have to do a little bit of self-introspection here and ask yourself, how do you make your decisions? All right. If you go to a nightly signal service or to a chat room or you read a blog, if you do that on a daily basis to find out what someone likes or what someone doesn't like, or to find out what you think the market's going to be doing according to them, you're not trading with a purpose. Okay. If you are waiting for earnings to come out and you're waiting to find out what to do, but you can't do anything until an announcement comes out or until some figure comes out about jobless claims or something, some economic report, you are not trading with a purpose. If you are waiting every day after the market closes to watch what the guys on TV say, what they think the best buy is for tomorrow, what you should do with this stock or this particular market, you are not trading with a purpose. Guess what? I would say the majority of all traders trade this way. And that is why, in my opinion, it's been estimated that 80 to 85% of all traders fail. Why? Because they're not trading with a purpose. They are trading with someone else's purpose. Someone else is telling them what they like or what they don't like. Most traders listen to someone tell them what these numbers are going to be on an economic report or what their earnings are supposed to be estimated. But that's not a purpose. And when you're going to a chat room or a trading room or reading a blog and finding out what someone likes, that's not trading with a purpose. That is very similar to what a gambler mentality is. When you hear a lot of people at the racetrack saying, who do you like in the fifth? Or who do you like in the ninth? That's not gambling with a purpose. That's trying to find out what to do. And that's the way most traders trade. So how do we trade with a purpose? Well, trust me, I've been there before. This is the way I was taught to trade. And it didn't work. When I say taught, I was taught by, conventional wisdom. I was lucky enough to have some mentors who actually said, in order to trade with a purpose, there are two specific things you need. The first one is a consistent trading plan that's based off of market behavior. Now, you notice I said market behavior. I didn't say based off economic reports. I didn't say based off what some guy's saying in a chat room. Or I didn't say based off some blog. It's based off the market behavior, the actual chart you're looking at, the simplest thing that's right in front of you. Okay? Now, most people, especially beginners, will say, well, Steve, I haven't been trading long enough. I don't have a trading plan. Okay? All the trading plans, maybe I spend 5 or 10 grand on trading plans and they don't work. Well, let me share with you one of our most consistent trading plans, something I use in my own personal trading on a consistent basis. This is strategy number 4. Now, some of the highlights of this particular method are it's for all traders. In other words, it makes no difference if you're trading 30 years or 30 minutes. Every one of our students gets the same basic format, okay? And then we work out from there to meet your needs. Now, it was originally designed for traders looking to catch quick momentum moves. In other words, when I first started trading this some 42 years ago on the floor, I was in and out in 5 minutes. But we've devised ways to stay in for weeks, months, even years if you'd like to. Now, the intensity level is a very moderate number 2. Why? Because it only uses one indicator. The beauty of strategy 4 is that you can apply it to any time frame, any direction, and most specifically, any market. Now, today I'm going to specifically look at stocks, but trust me, you can apply. We have strategy 4 students who use this on Bitcoin, on currency pairs, on E-mini futures. It makes no difference, even commodities. Now, if you're a member of ours in the strategy number 4 course, you're going to receive automatic buy and sell arrows, but these are strictly for educational purposes to check your work. I'll show you what that process is in just a few minutes. Now, remember, our edge at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies is consistency. So what do we mean by that? As you can see here, we underlined a consistent trading method. Now, most traders will say, well, yeah, Steve, I know what consistent means. It means that you make a lot of winning trades. Well, yes, in a sense, but when you say something is consistent, what you're really doing is acknowledging that you will have losses. You see, there's nothing wrong with taking a loss here and there. My first trade today was a loss. My second trade today made back what I lost. Okay, so that's what consistent means. having a method that's able to recoup your losses and hopefully make some more so that you have a 2-step forward, 1-step back approach. This nice upward slope on your P&L. We're not looking to hit home runs. I mean, how many of you have been promised the world by some trading method or some class that never loses, that's gone back 20 years and has phenomenal back-tested results? And then the minute you start trading it, it doesn't work, right? We've all been there. I've been there too. When I was first starting to trade, I bought all these systems. I wasted thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars on things that were supposed to work that never even worked, okay? That's not consistency. Even if you have something that does work and hits a home run, what about if it gave it all back? Have you been there before? I've been there as well. All right. I've had methods that I bought and I thought, God, this is great. I had a great couple of wins here. And then a week later, I'm giving it all back. And now I'm back in the negative column. Well, that's not consistency. Consistency is a 2-step forward, 1-step back approach. So we know that we will have losses from time to time. We just do not want those losses to overtake our winning scenario. Now, from time to time, they may happen because the environment will change. So this brings in the second requirement you need in order to trade with a purpose. This is a tool that's able to filter out the bad trades from the good ones. Now, I can't do this 100% of the time because that means you would never lose. You would always have the bad trades filtered out. But at least you're able to get rid of some of the noise, some of these trades that right off the bat are losses, and that really dig deep into your trading account. If you can filter some of those out, you'll become that even more consistent in your trading. Well, number 2 is the Pet D. This is another tool I was taught some 4 decades ago on the floor that I use on a daily basis. If you're not familiar, I've talked, ad nauseum about the Pet D because it's such a great tool. But if you're new to my presentation today, what exactly is the Pet D? It's a proprietary color bar algorithm. In other words, if you're looking for a trend, here's the way most traders would find it. They'd say, well, I guess we've made higher highs and higher lows, so I'm going to get in somewhere around here. And just about after you get in, this is what happens. Well, the proprietary Pet D colors the bars. All you have to do is click on the Pet D on our platform, and it will color them either green or red. Green for an uptrend, red for a downtrend. And it's that simple. So that the beauty of this is that it tells you which direction you should be trading. And once you know, you can confirm if your strategy is in sync with that direction. In other words, you don't want to be buying and see that the bars are colored red. Unfortunately, that's the way we've been taught, right? We've always been taught to buy low, sell high. But what you want to do is buy high, sell higher. Sell low, cover lower. Okay, because you want to be in sync with the Pet D. Now, when we combine these 2 requirements, a very consistent strategy with a great filter, this combination is called the dynamic duo. This is our most successful trading package we have at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies. We have students around the world trading this, not just in stocks, like I said. We have people trading this on the Indian markets, on the foreign exchanges, on E-mini futures, on commodities. That's how easy it is to transfer this onto any market, any time frame, and any direction. Let me show you an example here, an STNE, okay? This is coming, once again, the first week in March. Someone looking at this would say, well, Steve, I don't know. I mean, I looked at this and the blog I read, the guy was talking about this stock. He said we've got some major resistance here. We're rolling over and it looks like we're going to make new lows. There's some bad earnings supposed to be coming out. So I don't really want to touch this. And I'm thinking about shorting it. All right. Once again, this is how most traders justify their purpose in trading. But you notice how everything, was justified on what someone or something else was saying. It really wasn't justified on market behavior. Well, strategy number 4 is based on market behavior. And if you take our strategy number 4 course, you would have seen that right around here, based on these bars, an actual buy signal was being generated. Now, here's the process. Once you take the course and become a member of our Dynamic Duo course, here's the process you'd go through. You'd study the course material, and then you say, well, okay, I've studied it, and based off what Steve teaches, I think there's a buy signal generated right here. The next thing you do on our platform was click on strategy number 4. Drop-down menu appears. Click on signal arrows to check your work just to see if you're right. Once you do that, guess what? There was a signal generated right here, all right? So strategy number 4 is a buy signal, and in and of itself, it's a high probability setup. But what if we wanted to increase our odds for success? Well, we add the filter to make sure this is not going to be a low probability trade. And that filter is the pet D. Once again, we make it simple. On our platform, you click on the pet D tab and the bars automatically change. All that is required in our dynamic duo setup is for a buy signal, the buy bar, to be colored or outlined green. Now, if this were a sell setup, it would need to be colored red. Now, let's say we had a buy signal, but it was red like this bar right here. Well, then we wouldn't take it. In other words, the pet D is not filtering out a good trade. It's actually filtering out a bad trade. But in this case, it's telling you that this is confirmed. It's okay to take, and the stock was up 14 points in the next 2 weeks. Now, a lot of students will say, well, Steve, but the bar before it was red. What if all the bars were red? It makes no difference. In this particular case study, if you get a buy signal, we're only interested in the color of that bar, the bar that is above the arrow. Now, this could be a 5-minute bar, it could be a tick bar, it could be a monthly bar. It makes no difference. So that's the beauty of this dynamic duo, okay? So that's the process. You see how simple that is? And it's really a high probability setup for consistency. Now you are trading with a purpose. Why? Because 1, you have a very consistent trading plan that's based on market behavior. We don't care about earnings. We don't care about what's going on financially with the country. I mean, sure, if you want to look at that, you can, but this strategy is not based on that. It's not based on what support and resistance may be according to the institutions. Trust me, I tried that 42 years ago. It didn't work for me, and I used to work with the institutions, so there's no consistency in that. It's not based on economic reports or based on a ton of indicators. Remember, I said strategy number 4 only uses 1 indicator. So it's based on a very consistent method, and then we just confirm it with the pet D, a very simple 1-2 punch process. All right, so let's look at some more dynamic duo examples. And these are very recent, some within the last 3 or 4 months, some within the last week. All right, here's one in QURE. This is coming into February last month. We see here that we have a nice upward bias, but then we start to reach some resistance right here. Is this some type of top? Well, according to strategy number 4, there's actually a buy signal being generated here. And once again, nothing is hidden from you. This is not a black box strategy. You know the rules to strategy number 4. We teach you all the rules to find a basic setup. So if you had studied the course rules, you would have seen that, hey, you know what? There is a buy signal here. All you have to do to check your work is to click on the educational arrows, and you click on signal arrow in the drop-down menu, and as you can see, there was a valid buy signal. But that's not enough. In order to get this 1-2 punch of the dynamic duo, we want to confirm this. All we care about is that this bar is colored green. So we click on the pet D up here in the green strategy tab, and guess what? It's colored green. So we have a high probability setup. Now, is this a system? Is everyone going to trade it the exact same? No. There are different points of entry in our courses. There are different points of exits, and there are different points of stop placement. That's why we say no 2 traders should ever trade alike. If you're a very conservative trader, you're going to want to use a conservative stop placement. If you're an aggressive trader, you might want to use a different stop placement and a different way to enter. So 2 traders taking the exact same signal can come up with different results. That's why nothing is back-tested or researched, because we don't believe in that, because that would mean you'd all have to trade the same way. And that, to me, is a recipe for disaster. I do not want to teach or educate robots. That would be doing you a disservice. I want to teach you high probability setups, but that let you decide how you want to enter, exit, or place your stop placement. And guess what? We provide you with multitudes of different ways to do that. So let's just say you had traded the standard format. Well, 33 points later, you could have potentially captured that, or maybe taken a point. If you're a very conservative trader, you say, well, you know, I'm going to get out with a couple of points and say thank you. Maybe you want to take 20, 15 points. It's entirely up to you. Either way, you would have had a very nice setup here. Let's look at FIZZ. This was in February as well. Okay, it looks like nothing's really happening here. We're just in a range market once again. But after studying the course, you say, wait a minute. There's a sell setup going on right here. You check your work, you click on strategy 4, click on signal arrows, and you're right. Not only was there a sell setup here, there was another one right here if you missed that first one. So the market's telling you, based on market behavior, it wants to go lower. How low? No one knows. No one knows how low or how high something will go. You can only try to get in the direction of where it wants to go and then place some orders or monitor it. And we teach you how to do that. But in order to make sure this is a high probability setup, to filter out if this was not a high probability setup, we just add the pet D. Now remember, if you get a sell order, you do not want to see that colored green. You want to see it colored red. So we add the pet D, and not only are these two bars red, but all the bars are red. So this is a very high probability setup, two setups in fact. And 23 points later, you could have potentially taken 23 points out of the market. Entirely up to you. And in fact, you could have purchased puts. I know a lot of people don't have the account size or the wherewithal to actually short a stock. Not to worry, you can buy puts. How you want to enter is your choice. Remember, we do not teach nor do we trade systems which require everyone to trade the exact same way. That's how you can come up with statistics. Once again, that's a recipe for disaster. No two traders should ever trade alike. I would be doing you a disservice telling you that you have to trade a certain way each and every time. If you feel the market is a little bit too crazy at the moment, it's too much volume, or is it just going too much up and down with too much noise, you may want to alter your trading plan, or maybe you don't even want to take the trade. That's your choice. You should be in charge of your trading. Here's an example in Apple. This was just a couple of weeks ago in first week of March 8th, as a matter of fact. Once again, someone looking at it would say, well, Steve, this is in a downtrend. I really don't want to do anything in this stock. Well, right here, there's actually a setup being generated to go long based on market behavior. Click on strategy number 4, signal arrow, and yes, it was verified. That is a valid strategy number 4 setup. But let's see if it's a high probability setup. We click on the pet D right up here in the strategy tab, and the bars change. Now, guess what? This was not verified. So it's outlined red. So does that tell us we should not take the trade? No, you can take it or not. But if you're trading, to try and be consistent, it's suggested not to take this trade. All right, so let's see what happened. You're not going to take the trade, and it went up. So at this point, most traders are throwing their computers out the window saying, boy, I missed a nice profit there. This Steve Primo guy, his stuff doesn't work. Well, not really, because on the very next bar, you had another buy signal generated, and this time it was colored green. Remember, we're not here to try and tell you you're going to buy at the exact bottom and get out at the exact top. We're just trying to furnish you with high probability setups. So if you missed the first one, there's nothing wrong with getting into the second one. I know a lot of traders don't like to do this. I myself had a very difficult time trying to learn how to buy at a higher level, but that's what experienced traders do. If they can't get in at a lower level, they'll still get in if it's warranted. And strategy number 4, along with a pet D, is generating a valid dynamic duo setup. So you could have entered there, and you still would have potentially been able to capture 17 points. All right, so maybe you didn't make 25 points. 17 points in less than a couple of weeks is still not bad, right? How about letter G? Okay, now we were in a strong downtrend, and now we're starting to bounce up. A lot of traders would say, well, wait a minute, Steve, this is a pullback, all right? The market is terrible. I don't like a lot of the estimates and earnings reports that have been coming out. I think the market's going to be going lower, so I'm not in any way going to be looking for a buy setup, okay? In fact, strategy number 4 is generating some sell signals here. There were 2 sell signals generated. So I'm going to take those sell signals because strategy number 4 is a high probability strategy, and it's generating 2 sell signals right at the very top. But remember, even though you have a strategy, consistency means there will be losses. So you always want to protect yourself by filtering some of those losses out. If you added the pet D, you would have seen that, well, wow, this turned out to be a loss. But the pet D, once you added it, would have told you that in order to be valid sell signals, those bars needed to be red. So once you saw that they were green, you should have never taken those. And as you see right here, some of the best trades are the ones you never take. Why? Because you wouldn't have lost any money. HCSG, this was once again just last month. Now this time a valid sell signal was generated, and once you added the pet D, it was verified. Is this guaranteeing that it's going to be a success? No. There will still be losses with a dynamic duo, but you've increased your odds for consistency. And in fact, 10 points to the downside coming into the last week in March. How about MTM, Mountain, all right? Looks like absolutely nothing going on here. In fact, a lot of traders would say, well, Steve, this is resistance. The class I took, I spent about $5 grand on. It says that the institutions are selling here. So you don't want to go against the institutions, right? They're major sellers right up here based on the software I have, and you've got to be shorting this, okay? Is that based on market behavior? No, that's based on some guys in an office who can cancel their orders at any minute. And trust me, I used to like to look at the institutions 40 years ago. It didn't make any sense. They would enter orders and cancel them, enter and cancel them. So why would I base my trading based off what they're doing? Why not just look and see what the market is telling me? And according to the market we teach you, the behavior we teach you in the course, there was actually a buy signal being generated here. So you check your work, click on Strategy 4, click on Signal Arrows for educational purposes, and a buy signal was generated right here on the 5th of March. Okay? So in order to make sure it's a high probability signal, we click on the pet D, and all we want to make sure is that one bar is colored green. We do not care what the rest of the bars were colored. And, well, it was colored green. So that's a high probability setup. The stock was up 16 points in 4 days. What happened to the resistance? Okay, what happened to all that? That doesn't make any sense. There's no reason to follow that. Okay, there's no consistency in that trading. Their consistency will only be found in the chart in front of you. EW, this is the chart we start with, I believe, before the presentation. And remember, someone looking at this will say, well, we're just in a range. But a buy signal was generated and was colored green by the pet D. Remember, we do not care what the previous bar's colors were. All we care is what this bar was colored, and 18 points in the next week. Okay? So you had potential to capture 18 points in 5 days. EBS, a sell signal was generated. Okay, it looks like it's a pretty valid one because it is headed lower. Look at all the closes that were down on the day. But this does not guarantee that we're going lower. Nothing does. But how can we improve our odds for consistency? We add the pet D, and we see here that this is colored red. So this is a high probability sell setup, a dynamic duo sell setup, 14 points coming into this last week in March. And if you miss that, the beauty of this is many times if you miss the first sell or first buy, there are many more generated along the way. Here's an example in WP. Now, someone looking at this would say, well, Steve, this is way overbought. Every indicator that I subscribe to, every chat room I go to says you can't buy it. This thing is too overbought. All the tools and everything I use are tremendously overbought. There's no reason to buy this. I'm just going to sit on the sidelines. Well, there actually is a buy signal being generated here. In fact, there were 3. This is what we call a cluster. Now, this is a good sign, but it does not guarantee that it's going higher. But it's a good sign because the market is telling you not once, not twice, but 3 times it wants to go higher. If we want to increase our odds for consistency, we add the pet D, and we see here that all 3 of these signals were outlined green. So this is a very high probability setup, even after it's already extended its move to the upside. There's still, what it's saying, the market is saying, not some institution, not some guy in a chat room, but the market is saying there's still room to go higher. And as you can see, it went up 17 points in the next week. All right? So even if you didn't get the bottom, that's okay. You want to just be able to be in sync with the market. That's what really consistency is about. Knowing what the market wants to do and then just being in sync with it. Here's an example in NUS. As you can see, we're kind of headed lower, but it looks like we found some major support here. But according to what we've seen, we have a buy and a sell signal generated. All right, so which one do we take? All right, there's major support, a nice buy signal, but then we go into a sell signal. Which one is valid? Well, this is where the pet D really comes in handy. You apply the pet D, and once you do that, you see that the buy signal was outlined red. So once that signal was generated, you wouldn't have taken that signal. And now the sell signal is colored red. So this is a valid dynamic duo sell setup. Is it guaranteed to make money? No. Nothing is guaranteed. You will have losses. That's okay. but you've just increased your odds for consistency. So why not take it if you feel confident enough? And it was 18 points coming into this last week in March, okay? This is the beauty of applying the PET D. It can filter out some losing trades and also get you into some winning ones. Now we look at MAR, okay? Once again, this has been going up and it closed towards the top of its range here. A lot of traders would say, well, Steve, this has been going up. I can't justify buying at the high here. This is the highest close in like the last month. I'm going to buy now. I want to buy. I was always taught to buy low. Well, sure, if you can buy at a lower level, that's fine. But just because it's going up does not mean it stopped going up. A valid strategy number 4, buy signal was generated. We apply the PET D, and we see that it's filtered and confirmed to be green. So had you taken this signal, well, that's still an 11-point potential you could have captured in the next week. All right, coming into the end of February. Now, Triple L, this has been going up, but has a sharp down day. A sell signal was generated. We apply the PET D, and it is confirmed. So we have a high probability sell setup. The stock was down 17 points coming into the end of the year. Once again, if you have a strong enough valid move to the downside, many times you'll see more signals being generated along the way. But that's okay. Many times you'll see a sideways type of environment. This is where traders like to stay out. They say, I can't trade this. This is a choppy, there's nothing, absolutely nothing going on with this stock. And, you know, there's absolutely nothing I can do here. In fact, the class I took, once again, says the institutions are selling here. So why would I want to buy in the face of these institutions that have billions of dollars? Trust me, there is absolutely no consistency in doing anything with what the institutions want to do. Remember, once again, I had a working relationship personally with the institutions, and they were wrong a good majority of the time. So why would I base my trading trying to piggyback what they're doing? I now only base my trading off what the market is telling me. And the market was telling me that there are some nice buy signals being generated here. Even though the market's not doing anything in GH, I have not only 1, but 2 buy signals generated. Why? I checked my work, signal arrows, and I'm right. 2 buy signals were generated right here, okay? Now, in order to up my odds for consistency, I want to apply the PET D. So we made it simple for you. Just click on the PET D tab on our platform. Both of these bars were outlined green. So these are both high probability setups. Now, even though you may have purchased this one here at the end of January, nothing much has happened coming into the next 2 weeks. But you still wouldn't have lost any money. You're just kind of holding on, and maybe you wanted to buy some more. Well, you could have taken this signal, and that would have been a very wise thing to do, because in the next 2 months, GH was up 65 points. And once again, we're not telling you that you would have made 65 points. That's entirely up to you. If you wanted to take 1 point and get out with a profit, you could have done that. If you wanted to take 10, 20, 30, that's fine. It's entirely up to you. You are in charge of your trading. As your mentor, as your educator, all we do is supply you with different exit levels, different stop placements, different entry points. It's up to you how you want to trade them. Think of what we provide as a buffet line, okay? You get your main course, but in terms of the buffet, in terms of your beverage, in terms of your dessert or your appetizer, that's up to you to go pick, okay? Take it off the menu. It's your choice. That's how you have a pleasant, enjoyable meal. It's no different with trading. That's how you have a pleasant, enjoyable trading experience, by making your own decisions. You are, for the first time, trading with a purpose because you are in charge. You are not saying, well, I have no idea what to do. I'm going to listen to the guys on TV so they can tell me what they think of the market. Or I'm going to go to that chat room to see and find out what everyone else is doing. Or I'm going to wait for the earnings to tell me what to do. That is not trading with a purpose. I, as your educator, want you to learn how to trade with a purpose, because in my opinion, that's the only way you will become a consistent trader. Now, we've shown you the majority of these with stocks. Now, let's look at how we can look at a different time frame, because I know a lot of you are thinking, well, Steve, I am an investor, or can I use this in my long-term portfolio? Sure, here's an older chart of Netflix, okay? This was going back last year. Now, Netflix have been going pretty much straight up, and a lot of people thought, well, maybe it's rolling over here. But if you click on strategy 4 just to review your work, you think there's a buy signal being generated, and there actually was. You click on the educational arrows, and a buy signal was generated just about a year ago in April. Okay, In order to validate it and to confirm it, you click on the pet D. Nothing changes. We're using the same process with a weekly chart, and it's outlined green. So it's a valid dynamic duo setup. It's your choice whether to take it, where you want to get in, where you want to get out. But had you taken it, potentially you could have captured 108 points coming into the fall of last year. That's how simple this process is. All right, so let's recap before we go to questions and answers. Remember, my goal as your teacher is to have you trade with a purpose. It would be a disservice on my part if I said, listen, just come to my website every day. I'll tell you what my picks are for tomorrow. I'll tell you where I enter, where I exit. I'll tell you exactly what to do. You just blindly follow me like a robot. Unfortunately, that's the way the entire financial industry is based on. You know, either listening to a broker, some guy on TV, or someone in a chat room. And that's why the majority of traders fail. It's been estimated upwards of almost 85%. The reason is you're taking yourself out of the game. And in my opinion, that's the worst thing you can do. Take it from someone who did this 42 years ago. Probably the things that you're basing your trading on, I did already. And trust me, it doesn't work. So I don't want you to waste your time and your money on things that really don't have any consistency in them. The way to trade with a purpose is to, one, have a plan that has consistency. That's strategy number 4. That's our most consistent trading method we have at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies. But when we say consistent, we mean that we're aware that we will have losses. Just I showed you, there were some trades that were not working out well, that they were losses right off the bat. So is there a way to increase our odds for consistency? Remember, we know that we're not silly enough to say that we want to be 100% correct, because that's just impossible. But how can we increase our odds? Well, we want something to filter out, if it can, some of those less meaningful trades. And that's the pet D. We can use the pet D as a filter. It's a color bar algorithm that simply colors the bars green or red, and we use those colors to confirm the strategy number 4 signal. It's that easy. When you put those two together, you have our most successful course package at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies. This is our dynamic duo of trading, okay? And lastly, we made it simple to apply this process on the new PTS Primo charting platform. As you saw, everything is one click away. Everything is pre-formatted. You check your work. Remember, we always teach you what you're doing. Remember, we're not taking you out of the game and saying, well, just click on this to see where a buy or sell signal is. Those are only for educational purposes. I want you to know why a strategy number 4 buy or sell signal has been generated. I've been trading strategy number 4 long enough where all I have to do is simply look at a chart and I know where those buy and sell setups are. But in the beginning, while you're learning, we want you to be able to check your work. That's why we provided you with up and down arrows. So ask yourself, before you ask me questions, do you think these edges of the dynamic duo, do you think they could have helped your trading this past year? How about for the remainder of 2019? Do you think they can help you going forward? I can almost just guarantee you that most of you are not starting out 2019 the way you thought. All right, we're already in the first quarter here, and most likely, most of you are still struggling. I know what that's like. Trust me, I've been there before. It's very depressing and it's very frustrating because you put a lot of hard work, you spent a lot of money, and nothing seems to be working, at least with some consistency. Sure, maybe you had a good trade here or there, but then you give it all back, right? It's very frustrating, very disappointing. How would you like to finally, for the very first time in your trading career, get back on the road to consistency where you feel confident and you're excited about every day where you come to trade? Well, we have a great special attendee discount for all of you attending today. This is our dynamic duo special. We're going to offer you strategy number 4 along with the pet D. You're going to get instant course access, over 20 instructional videos. Remember, we're going to teach you all the different entry, exit, and stop placements. The automatic buy and sell arrows will be there featured for you. And this also comes with 4 pet D trading techniques that are entirely different from the dynamic duo. So we're going to, include all of that along with mentoring correspondence. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to throw in 12 months of our PTS Primo charting platform. 1 full year of the platform. Now, this usually costs close to $1,800. Well, don't worry, we're not going to charge you that. In fact, we're not going to charge you anything. We're giving you 12 months free of the platform. So you're not going to have to pay for that at all. You're going to have the dynamic duo 1 click away. Everything's right there, pre-formatted for you on our platform. Let me show you what you get. You're going to get not only strategy number 4 and the Pet D, you're also going to get the proprietary exit levels. Now, I kind of told you about that earlier. Let's look at that chart we talked about. All right, remember, EW generated a valid strategy number 4 and a Pet D confirmation dynamic duo setup right here. This was on the 11th of March, just a couple of weeks ago. Now, we provide our students with numerous exit points, and they're for you to decide which ones you want to use. On our platform, we've developed one of them so that you can actually just click on the strategy number 4 tab. In the drop-down menu, click on one of the exits, which are our range extensions, and they automatically appear. This is probably one of our most popular ways for exiting because they provide you with numerous ways to trade, okay? And we explain that in the course. If you had taken the most advantageous one, which is right up here, well, guess what? In 5 days, you could have exited right there with a gain of roughly 18 points in 1 week. Now, actually, you would have gotten a better price because we opened up here. So had you placed a limit, you would have gotten an even better price, probably closer to 20 points in just 1 week. Now, if you're a trader that's very conservative, want to get in and out quickly, well, in a couple of days, you could have made probably about 4 points or so. So there's lots of different ways to use this. A lot of people like to use this and move their stop. Once you get to a different level, well, you move your stop up until you finally exit. But this is all done really easy. Once again, all you do is click on strategy number 4, and it's on the drop-down menu. And automatically, you'll see them appear on the platform. Remember, you're getting the platform for free for a full year. But along with that, we're also giving you 90 of the most prominent technical indicators. But I think one of the best bonuses in this is the signal scanner, okay? If you're the type of trader that's not able to be in front of your computer all day and you'd like to see at the end of the day what the setups are for the next day's trading, well, you don't want to do like what I did some 40 years ago, have to look through charts of 500 different stocks. This process has been made so simple on our platform. Let me show you how simple this is. On the strategy number 4 tab, once again, you simply click on scanner. Remember, we have signal arrows, we have range extensions. All you have to do is click on the scanner and you'll see this window appear. All right? Simply click on load symbols and you get a list of symbols. You can have your own symbol list. Maybe you have a basket of stocks you like to look at. Maybe you like to trade currency pairs. We provide all the most prominent currency pairs. Maybe you like to trade futures, Bitcoin, commodities. Maybe you only like to trade NASDAQ stocks. We have tons of lists, different markets, the DAX exchange, Indian markets, Canadian markets. You can choose from all this list of which one you want to look at. And in probably about less than 10 seconds, you'll see a spreadsheet like this appear. Okay? Once that appears, click on scan. And then in another 30 seconds, you'll see a series of either green or red horizontal bars. The green bars simply mean there's a buy signal in the corresponding stock. The red bars mean there is sell signal. So this whole process probably takes you less than a minute each night, but you'll see a list of stocks that you can pick and choose from the next day that meet the requirements for strategy number 4. In fact, let's say I had given this presentation a week or 2 ago, and you were a member of our Dynamic Duo course, you would have seen this past week that a buy signal was generated in HUNT, okay, just yesterday or the day before. Now, I'm not saying you would have taken this, but let's say you were interested, or maybe you had been long this prior to that, and you said, wow, this is good news. I have a buy signal generated on the 25th. Let's see if the Pet D confirms this. Look how simple the process is. You click on the Pet D, and the bars change. Now remember, we're not concerned with the color of the other bars. The only bar we're concerned with was this one, and that was the day the signal was generated. Now, remember, with the scanner, you do not have to wait till the night. You can scan, 2 minutes, 5 minutes before the close, and you could get in on the close if you want. You could wait for the next day. You could place a limit order somewhere else. It's entirely up to you. But let's say you were lucky enough to scan a minute before the close, and you said, this is great because I've been interested in this stock. So you purchase it, 70 points the next day. Now, we're not telling you that you would have made 70 points, but you could have potentially captured that in 1 day. Now, there was some news, obviously, that came out in this. In fact, I think that they've actually halted trading in this stock because they're waiting for more information to be processed. But someone would say, well, Steve, how did you guys know that? Remember, we do not base any of our information off of fundamental news. We're not saying you don't need that. It's up to you, but it's not required in any of our strategies. We base it off of market behavior. And once you become a student of ours, you'll learn how to process and properly identify a valid strategy number 4 signal. This is how simple it is. Not every trade is going to be this great, but some of them will be able to be filtered out by the PET D, some others won't. But we're trying to make you consistent. We're not saying you're going to get home runs every time. We're just trying to make you a 2-step forward, 1-step back trader. So the signal scanner is included. But remember, as your mentor, I'm not here to tell you how to trade or how not to trade. I'm here simply to educate you. If you feel that you need fundamental news, if you like to look at earnings, if you like to look at economic reports, that's fine. It's just not required, but you can still use that if that helps you. So for that purpose, we provided you with free Bloomberg TV. It's on our platform. There's a media icon, a media page that you simply click on and you get live Bloomberg TV. So anytime an economic report, an earnings report, or some jobless claim is announced, you will be able to hear that automatically as it's happening in real time, okay? And then lastly, this comes with personalized tech support. So this is a great, great offer. Remember, this is included 12 months free with the Dynamic Duo package. So let's break this down, okay? You're getting these 3 things along with mentoring correspondence. I'm also going to be there with you every step of the way to encourage you and also to teach you if you're having difficulty via email. You'll get my personal email address and you can contact me whenever you like. All right, let's break it down. Now, if you purchase strategy number 4 separately, it would cost you roughly close to $700, okay? If you purchase the PET D separately, it would cost you close to $3,000. And if you purchase the PTS Primo charting platform for a year, it would cost you close to $1,800. So if you didn't take advantage of this, say you sat on this offer and said, well, let me give me a little bit more time and I'll figure it out later on. Maybe midway through the year when things get better for me, I'll purchase this. Well, this deal most likely won't be happening then, and you'll most likely have to spend close to $5,500. And that's a lot, especially if you've been struggling. With this great package we have for you today, we're slashing that price. The only thing you have to pay is $29.95. That includes the 12 months of the PTS Primo charts included free. Here's another bonus. If you cannot come up with a $29.95 sum, don't worry. We will establish a payment plan with you. So Pro Trader Strategies, PTS, will actually put together for a small deposit, they'll have a payment plan. So you can be still up and running. You don't have to come up with a $29.95 altogether. So this is just a great opportunity to get your trading back on track for 2019. Our Dynamic Duo special, along with 12 months of the PTS Primo charts included, free for only $29.95. Here's how to take advantage of this offer. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. I developed all of my courses and the platform with them. I would suggest probably calling them at area code 310-598-6677. You can ask them any more questions about courses or information concerning discounts or payment plans, and there's absolutely no obligation. They have personal trading consultants manning the phones right now. They would be happy to answer any question you have without any obligation. They would give you different options for payment plans, and they would give you more information concerning the strategies or the platform. If you're interested in signing up right now, or you want to go to a more informational web page, that link you see at the very bottom will take you there, okay? That's also been posted on the chat box on the GoToWebinar column in the far right. If you look down there, you see the chat box. There's a live link posted there. So all you have to do is click that on. It will automatically take you. We have roughly about 5 or 10 minutes left for any questions. So if you have them, now is a good time to ask, and I promise I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible and get to each and every one of them. Let's see. Does this work on forex and indices and commodities? Good question. And the answer is yes, yes, and yes. I personally use this on intraday e-mini trading because that's my market of choice. Okay, I'm pretty much changed over into a lot of intraday trading now, but we have members around the world who only use it on forex trading. We have commodity traders. We also have, index ETF traders as well. So yes, this works tremendously. As I said earlier, any time frame, any market, in any direction. It is our most popular package that we produce, that traders and we teach and mentor around the world because it can easily transfer over onto any market. So if you have questions about forex, or if you have questions about commodities, or even Bitcoin, yes. In fact, if you look at our, if you're looking at our Twitter page, I believe I posted some Bitcoin signals that were all Dynamic Duo setups as well. There's a lot of Dynamic Duo setups that I've posted on our Twitter page as well. So lots of great free information. But remember, you cannot take advantage of this if you kind of sit on this deal, or else it goes back up to close to $5,500. And that's just how much this is worth. And pricing may go up even further towards the end of the year. So this is a great, great opportunity to get in at an inexpensive price. Also, with a payment plan involved, you do not have to come up with that $29.95. You can still come up with a small deposit and still be up and running as early as today. Remember, you get 1 year free of the platform with this included, okay? Other people are saying, let's say, yeah, they're asking the same thing about, does this work on the futures? Yes, it does. And, you know, we have a lot of students that actually like to apply this for their long-term portfolio. I have seen some tremendous signals on monthly bars. So, you know, you're not going to get as many signals as you would see on a 5-minute time frame, but you'll still see some really, really nice signals on a monthly time frame. So if you like to use this for your investing or long-term portfolio or IRA, I mean, this is still a great tool to have in your trading package. So one of the things I want to say is, you know, we don't just give you this online course and then say good luck. Remember, I'm there with you every step of the way. Some people are asking, do I have one-on-one time with them? In terms of email, yes, you can email me whenever you like. In fact, prior to this presentation, I was answering some students' emails about trading the dynamic duo. So I'll be there with you every step of the way. Anytime you have a question, don't think that, you know, most of, you know, people that send emails, they find out like 2 weeks or 3 weeks later. Most of the emails that I get, I answer within the next 24 to 48 hours. So you'll get an answer right away. So this is something that we designed with you in mind. We really want to make you a consistent trader. If you've been struggling, this is a great, great place to start. So I can't think of a better way, along with a better package of a discount, to get involved and to turn your trading around. Trust me, a year from today, you will have wished you took advantage of this. You don't want to be where you are 1 year from today and still struggling and still saying, gosh, I wish I would have taken that dynamic duo course. Now the thing's close to $8,000. I really wasted my time, you know, thinking about it when I should have taken advantage, okay? So there's the information in front of you. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. They have trading consultants manning the phones right now. They would be happy to work with you, and plus there's absolutely no obligation. They'll answer any other questions that you may have, okay? As we close, I'd like you to take one last look at our disclaimer, and remember, we always try to leave you with something. So our main purpose as an educator is to teach you how to trade with a purpose. So I hope you got something out of today and learned at least that most traders are not trading with a purpose. They're really blindly following someone or something else. My goal is to get you into that top 5 percentile that is consistently having success in their trading. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do in terms of make you a consistent trader. That's what we feel consistency is. That's what success is in the market, an ability to be consistent. So hopefully you'll become a student of mine, and I look forward to that. And I look forward to all of you becoming members of the Dynamic Duo package. Remember to contact Pro Trader Strategies for any questions, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.